A mother stands before the judge, accused of pulling a gun on her own son. But what if the real story is hidden behind a haze of social media posts, blurred faces, and family secrets? As shocking photos surface and both sides clash over the truth, the courtroom holds its breath. Is Virginia Cerna a violent criminal, or mother caught in a web of lies?
All right, so Mr. DeLeon, your motions are lost in the system somewhere.
Sure.
So are you all okay with proceeding without his
Yes.
physical motions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna give you the.
Sure.
Judge, can I approach this as the conditions of bond that have already been put in place?
We're going to go on the record. Court is calling CM 114217, 114220, and 114222. State of Texas versus Virginia Cerna. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Michael DeLeon for Ms. Cerna.
And are you Ms. Cerna?
Yes, ma'am.
We are here, counsel, for a bond reduction. Is that correct?
That's correct. Just for the record, Your Honor, originally Ms. Cerna was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Her bond was set at $15,000. That occurred early in 2023. She, in late October of 2023, picked up 3 charges of aggravated robbery, which we very much dispute. And because of those robbery charges, her original bond on aggravated assault was remanded without bond. Okay, so today we're going to.
Just one moment. And the court will also be calling 2023 CR 5815. You may continue, counsel.
And today, Judge, we're going to be asking that a bond be set in her aggravated assault charge, and the associated aggravated robberies are set at $75,000, which is highly excessive. Before we go to the facts of those aggravated robberies, we're going to be asking for a bond of $10,000 each on the aggravated robberies, given the circumstances.
All right. And what bond would you be asking for on the aggravated assault?
It would be ideal to reinstate her bond at $15,000, but we will go with whatever the court wishes to do.
All right. And state, are you prepared to proceed?
Yes, ma'am. We're ready.
Any witnesses? State or defense?
I mean,
None, Your Honor. I do have, I'd like to give the court a packet. I can do it one of 2 ways, either, and I've shown this to Mr. Wilkins, series of pictures, and I've marked it as defense exhibit number 1. I can have my client identify it, or as an officer of the court, I can identify what those pictures are.
All right. Any objections to defense exhibit number 1?
no objection, Your Honor.
All right. Then the court will set except into evidence defendant's exhibit number 1.
And if I may, Your Honor, what the court is looking at in defense exhibit number 1 is the first photos are of the 3 complainants in the case. The very first picture is Christopher Cooper, who is the biological son of my client. He was not raised by Ms. Cerna, but they are biological. And the other 2 are friends of Mr. Cooper. Additionally, you're also seeing social media posts of the various complainants and their various photos with weapons, with smoking blunts, with putting up wads of cash with those weapons as well. And lastly, there are injuries to Ms. Cerna's arm that occurred during that robbery. And we do want to address that when we get to that point. But that very last photo is a kind of fresh photo, and it's kind of hard to see in the black and white versus color, but she
Right.
was cut by one of the complainants.
The court sees defense exhibit 1 with the alleged complainant listed. The court sees what appears to be the complainants holding AK-47s and Glocks.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the next photo appears to be the complainant, who is the defendant's son, holding cash, wearing pants that are 30 sizes too big, that are sagging. Then the next photo appears to be 2 complainants with someone with a gun, but there's no face to the person holding the gun, pointing the gun at them as they smoke blunts and photograph the person pointing the gun at them. Then the next photo appears to be someone holding a gun. And I believe that's the complainant that is listed on page 3 of defendant's exhibit number 1. And then the court sees photographs with no face. So I don't know, I'm taking you at your word saying this is your complainant, but there's no face, but it appears there's no talking by you unless you're under oath. But I do see photographs that appear to match the mark that's on your client's arm. But again, her face is not pictured in defense exhibit number 1.
As an officer of the court, I will say that I've talked to my client. She has identified the 3 complainants, that being Jonathan, Joseph, and Christopher being the ones in the photos. And I'll also point out to the court that these photos taken from social media were my client got those while she was out on bond, and was able to forward that to me before she was taken into custody on these new aggravated robbery charges.
Okay.
Additionally, Judge, if you look at the facts and circumstances of the case, I know we're not here to litigate the entire aggravated robberies, but there's an allegation that Ms. Cerna and her husband pulled out guns after inviting her biological son and his friends over to a La Quinta to see a just under 2-year-old stepsister that was born that Mr. Christopher Cooper has never met before. Suddenly a robbery occurs allegedly with firearms by Ms. Cerna and her husband allegedly. However, if you look at the facts and circumstances again, La Quinta management throws out everybody out of the hotel. There's an argument going out in the parking lot when supposedly my client and her husband have firearms, yet somehow these complainants are hanging around in the parking lot with them when they've just been threatened with firearms. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Additionally, Ms. Cerna does have that injury to her arm. She was cut. Once again, if she had a firearm, she wouldn't be in the position to be cut by Jonathan Vidales, who is in fact, all of these are, well, actually, Jonathan and Joseph are juveniles. Mr. Cooper is, I believe, 18 years of age at the time of this event in October of last year. But the circumstances are very suspect, Judge. So without going in, and obviously this court is not going to make a judgment on the veracity of if she's guilty or not guilty of those specific aggravated robbery charges. But given the circumstances for setting a bond, we believe that because of the nature of the weirdness, essentially, of this allegation, we're asking that bonds be set of $10,000 on the aggravated robberies so they can be litigated down the road. And we'll see further in the future if, and this case is unindicted. These 3 charges have been unindicted for the past roughly 60 to 90 days. We will see if the district attorney's office will even go forward. I mean, obviously, Mr. Wilkins might know more about if they even have complainants that are going to be continuing to complain in the future. So based on that, Your Honor, and the circumstances, we're asking that the bond be set on the aggravated assault and a much lowered bond be set on the aggravated robberies. Obviously, if the court wants to do GPS, that is more than fine. We might ask the court to reduce or waive GPS fees, but if the court wishes to do that, we need more. Ms. Cerna will certainly comply with all GPS conditions.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. We are asking that you double the bond on the aggravated assault deadly weapon from $15,000 to $30,000. And we're asking that on the aggravated robberies, that you keep the bonds at $75,000 each. We're also asking that you, she has these conditions of bond, the special conditions of bond, Judge, that I attended to the court. We're asking that you keep the GPS with full house arrest in place, no contact with the complainant witnesses in the aggravated robberies, Jonathan Vidales, Joseph Berrientos, and Christopher Cooper, a prohibition on possessing firearms. And Judge, I've previously tendered to the court the police report. I didn't mark those. I have stickers here if you'd like.
If you mark those as states exhibits 1, 2, and 3.
Yes,
And defense, have you had a chance to review those documents?
We have, Your Honor, no objection.
All right, then states exhibits 1, 2, and 3 are admitted, and of course, defendants exhibit number 1 is admitted. And you can tender those to the court reporter. I've reviewed those.
Okay, this one. So, just
And
reading,
I'm sorry, just so the record can be clear, those were reviewed before they were offered into evidence, and both the defense and the state requested that the court review those before they were offered into evidence.
Objection.
just, real briefly, the argument, in the police report, these are, very serious allegations. We're asking, that the bond be set at this high, or kept at this high number, in order to protect the community. The code says that you can set reasonable conditions of bond, within this amount, as well as your full house arrest GPS. And if you were inclined to grant a lower amount of bond, we would still ask for the other conditions, the full house arrest GPS, Judge. But I reviewed those pictures, and I think some of the questions that maybe the court had too. This is a picture. I don't really know what this is depicting. This could be an airsoft gun. This could be a real gun. These guys could be engaging in blunting, or this could be tobacco. A couple of these guys are juveniles, so if they have guns in these pictures that are undated, I think. We don't know when that is. I don't think any allegation that at the time of the offense, October 27th of 2023, that any of the complaining witnesses had guns at the time. That's not in any of the police reports. So, Your Honor, in order to protect the community, we are asking for those bond amounts, as well as the full house arrest GPS, Your Honor.
And lastly, Judge, if I may, what I forgot to mention was nowhere in that police report does it say that anyone beyond the complainant said that Ms. Cerna and her husband had firearms. The hotel manager was told she had a firearm, but never saw it. So I want to be real specific about that.
And just briefly, I mean, when I was reading the police report, if you're in a hotel room, I don't typically invite the manager into the hotel room. So I don't know how we would see if there are guns or not in there.
This is as everyone was exiting, all the parties.
Okay. So is there anything else from either side?
Just a few more things. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So I'm going to keep the previous conditions of full GPS. I'll ask that the fees be waived. For the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, I'm going to set the bond at $25,000. And that is cause number 2023 CR 5815 and CM number 114217. The court will reduce the bond to $60,000. And that's based upon what the court has reviewed in the police report. And cause number CM 114220, the court will reduce the bond to $60,000. And in cause number CM 114222, the court will reduce the bond to $60,000. And there's to be no contact with, is your husband Ruben Cerna?
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be no contact with Ruben Cerna. All right, is there anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we need a jury trial date, a quick date on this case. State, how long do you expect this trial to last?
3 days, Judge.
All right. So that means it'll probably be 2 days. The earliest date you have. All right, we'll come back with jury trial on February 6th. If you're still in custody, you'll be brought over and trial dressed in whatever civilian clothing you have at the jail. If you wish to be attired in something else, you'll need to do a clothing exchange. Mr. DeLeon, if there's an issue with the clothing exchange, let the court know.
Yes, Your Honor. We thank the court.
All right, and do you know if your client will be going, if she were found guilty, do you know if she'd be going to the court for punishment or the jury?
We haven't discussed that yet, Your Honor, but probably the court.
All right, on Eric Lopez? All right, thank you.
He said he just wanted to move on with his life. But what happens when a dark past catches up in broad daylight? Inside the courtroom, a man pleads for mercy after admitting to indecent acts with child. While victims demand justice and prosecutors lay bare a 15-year criminal history. This isn't just another sentencing, it's a
I read the
reckoning.
police report. And I've seen the ages of the complainant, the age of the complainant in this case. That's an issue for the court. You understand? Hello, good morning. All right, I believe this is family violence.
Over here now, right?
Yes. And Mr. DeLeon, you need to go to another court for your jury trial?
Eventually, but I have another matter.
All right, whenever you're ready, let us know. Court is calling 2022 CR 6930, State of Texas versus Pete Garcia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Daniel De La Garza for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Garcia? You entered a plea on December 5th to count one of guilty. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is opposing your application. They're taking in consideration 2023 CR 8852 and 2023 CR 8851. And there is to be restitution, if any, to the complainants in each of those cause numbers. No contact with the complainant and Chapter 62 compliance. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, are there any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
None from the state, Your Honor.
All right, state you are opposed.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state would just like to begin when looking at the PSI, this individual had cases out of, I believe it's Manatee County, Florida, put on probation for a drug offense, 28 grams to 150 kilograms.
Just one second, I'm sorry. Probation?
Yes, Judge.
On this case, I don't have the PSI report in the email.
Judge, my apologies.
That's okay. Ah. Thank you. Just give me 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This individual was placed on probation on 2 different occasions out of Manatee County, Florida, once in 2006 for 28 grams to 150 kilograms of cocaine charge. Also 2007 out of Manatee County, Florida for use of investment proceeds from racketeering. That's 2 separate instances of probation outside of the state of Texas. Within the state, within Barrett County, there was this individual was transferred to TDC and sentenced in 2019 with tampering of a government record. Also 2019, unauthorized use of a motor propelled vehicle. Again, sentence transferred to TDC on both of those. The victim in the credit card abuse case said in the PSI quote, "I'm not okay with probation. I want him to do time. I'm sure he will do it to someone else. I don't think probation is the solution. He will do it again. He will do this to someone else." The victim in the fraudulent use or possession of an ID case said, quote, "I'm absolutely not okay with him applying for probation. I just want him to go to jail forever if possible. He is an egregious violator of the law." So that's with respect to those 2 cases, Your Honor, that were taken into consideration. And the instant case, the indecency with a child by contact, as is mentioned in the STIPs, a short 2 or 3 sentences from the report. Juvenile Jalissa Leone told her mother that Pete Garcia fondled her breast and nipples on 10 separate occasions. She stated the incidents occurred when she was 11 years old, while Pete Garcia resided at the residence. Juvenile Jalissa Leone did tell one of the interviewers that it never went further than that, but that Pete Garcia told her, quote, "Don't tell your mother," when the incidents occurred. Your Honor, in the PSI, this would be victim number 3, Your Honor, again, with respect to the indecency. When questioned, that victim said, if you just give the state one quick moment, Your Honor. Again, victim Jalissa Leone said, quote, "I want him to take some accountability. I don't want probation for him. I suffer from really bad PTSD now because of this incident. I get scared to go to sleep because I have really bad dreams. I get scared to be alone with certain people because I never know what could happen." And Your Honor, I think the word there that of course sticks out to me from the victim in our case, the indecency, the incident case, I should say, is that accountability. And to kind of in summation, if you will, Your Honor, the final point is when the defendant, speaking to the accountability, when the defendant was questioned about why he feels he should be granted probation, he told them, quote, "I need to continue with the life I was living." Well, the life he was living, Your Honor, caused all of this harm in Barrett County alone, and of course, criminal offenses stretching back over 15 years. when asked the defendants in court, I don't want to talk about this right now. I wasn't consuming alcohol or drugs on the date of offense. A lack of accountability and wanting to go back to the life he lived, as if somehow not being under the influence of drugs makes any of this conduct okay, Your Honor. The state respectfully believes that this individual is not qualified or suited, again, under the eyes of the state for probation.
All right, defense.
Just briefly, Your Honor, he definitely does take accountability. He does take responsibility for what happened, and he'll be happy to tell you that if you'd like to ask him. But the point
Does he
is
want
that
to testify?
you want to tell the judge that you're sorry.
Here's the thing, before you begin, if you want to testify, you're going to be placed under oath and the state will have a chance to cross-examine. So do you wish to testify? All right, can you raise your right hand? Excuse me, person in the black jacket. The person in the black jacket, they need to be excused from the courtroom. They're talking to someone in the box. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, you can lower your name. Sorry, lower your hand and state your name for the record.
Pete Garcia.
All right, Mr. Garcia, just one moment. Mr. De Leon,
Yes, sure.
let me know if you need to go for your jury trial.
I don't really want to go that bad, but I appreciate it.
All right, just let me know. All right, we may continue. All right, defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Um,
Well, hold on. I'm gonna ask you some questions, all right? So first off, you know that you've pleaded guilty to the indecency case, right?
yes.
And then you've taken responsibility also for the credit card theft and the fraud cases, right? For lack of a better term.
Yes, come 100%. I just want to pay back the restitution.
I'm sorry, you need to speak up.
I just want to give a chance to pay back the restitution, Your Honor. The last 3 years of my life, for once, I have a good paying job. I just signed a 30-year mortgage 8 months ago. My life is finally on track, and this incident happened in 2016, 2017. 7 years later, it came up, and I do take full responsibility of all my actions. I do.
So let me ask you, when you say all your actions, are you talking about the case that you have pleaded guilty to, the sex offense, for lack of a better term?
Yes.
And you're talking about the cases that the judge will take into consideration? You take responsibility for all that, right?
Yes.
Now, let me ask you questions. Now, tell the judge, when the prosecutor says, go back to the lifestyle or whatever, what did you mean by that?
What I meant was, in the last 3 years, Your Honor, my life has been, me and my spouse, I have been on track. I go out for a month, I come home for a week. I've been doing that for 3 years. I finally, like I said, Your Honor, the life is what I meant was me getting my life back on track, finally living a normal life.
Now, let me ask you, who is your spouse?
Jasmine Manion, she's,
Is she here today?
yes,
I'm gonna point out for Your Honor. Sure. Right there in the Under Armour shirt, waving her hand. Okay, and then if you were granted probation, is that where you would go back to live?
yes,
Okay, and let me ask you, are there minor children in that house?
none.
And you have your own children, right?
Yes, they're grown,
What do you mean by grown? How old's the youngest?
21.
Okay, and do they have children?
Yes, my son does.
Okay, now if the court will order you to have no contact with minor children, is that something that you'll abide by, first off?
Yes,
Then second of all, you're gonna have all kinds of conditions that you need to abide by, such as the sex offender counseling, maintaining employment, reporting to probation. Are you gonna do all that stuff?
100% complete, yes.
And then where are you gonna go back to work?
At Halliburton.
What's that?
It's a oil and gas company.
What do you do there?
I'm a CDL driver. I deliver frac sand.
And if your CDL license is suspended or you lose that, where would you go work at that point? Let's just say.
It's a family member that works there. I would be working as a laborer.
And then now the judge is going to can give you up to 8 years in prison or deferred adjudication for up to 10 years. What are you asking to happen?
Judge, I'm asking for the 10 years and just to give me that chance to pay back this restitution. And I just, for one time, have a normal life. I accept everything that I did. I just want to move forward. I finally have it and I feel like everything's gonna get taken away, but I do accept full responsibility, man. I do. I just want that chance to pay back, give them what they're asking for, the restitution, and just move on with my life.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Right, state.
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor. Were you aware that when the complainant first outcried, the reason the outcry happened when it did is because she was having frequent and violent sexual dreams? Were you aware of that?
No, I have had no contact with them in going on 8 years.
And if she hadn't had such violent dreams, there's reason to believe that she wouldn't have outcried. If she wouldn't have, would you have done something to take accountability for your actions, confess or do other actions or take other actions to take responsibility for the double-digit number of times that there was the touching of the breast with your hands?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
And I apologize, to put it simply, if she had never outcried, would you have found a way to take accountability for your actions?
If there was something said, then of course, 100%. Would I do take accountability for my actions? And like I said, it's been almost 8 years. I have not heard anything until recently. So, of course, yes, I 100%.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. So I have a question for both parties with regards to the restitution amounts. One complainant says the restitution amount is 0. Mejia is saying their restitution amount is $15,000, but that $15,000, they're saying that's the money they borrowed, but that the bank reimbursed them.
That was my understanding.
So it appears that the money has been reimbursed. So I understand that there's costs because they borrowed $15,000, but then the bank reimbursed $15,000. Now I can understand maybe he's responsible for the interest on the $15,000, but the court doesn't have the interest amount for that. But, and if I'm wrong in my legal conclusion to this, I don't think he's responsible for the entirety of the $15,000 if the bank, and it appears from what I'm reading, the bank has given him back the $15,000.
Yes, Your Honor. I would agree with that, absolutely.
So I don't have a restitution amount for that.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that is correct. I see exactly what the court is saying, and yeah, I don't believe there would be any restitution remedy available.
Okay. All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court will deny your application. Does anybody want to speak to the cap? The court is going to find you guilty. Anyone want to speak to the cap of 8 years?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Well, just Your Honor, we would ask that he, based upon the fact that he has taken responsibility and that he has, done his best to make amends for what he's done, that we ask that you hit somewhere below the cap. And I would leave that up to the court's wise judgment, but I would ask somewhere below the 8 years.
All right. All right, Mr. Garcia, I want to let you know that I read the entirety of the PSI report. I read the police report. And I've seen the ages of the complainant, the age of the complainant in this case. That's an issue for the court. You understand? All right, the court will find you guilty, sentence you to a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, taking consideration 2023 CR 8852, 2023 CR 8851. There's to be Chapter 62 registration, no contact with the complainant, and either of the cause numbers. The court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, true.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon our ammunition is you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So off the record, I understand that people have regrets about things that they've done in their past. And sometimes we hope that our past won't come back and bite us, right? Because you moved on with your life. I understand it as you're working. I know that that job you had was a great job. I know you have the 30-year mortgage. But when offenses and crimes happen, you have to answer for those. And at some point, what we've done catches up with us. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I'll need
He was just 20, tattooed, homeless, bipolar. And on the day he threw his own dog into a yard of killers, he said he was high out of his mind. But the court didn't just see a monster, they saw a broken soul. And now he's facing 8 years, hundreds of hours of service, and one haunting question: can trauma ever excuse cruelty?
probation. This is an application. Court is calling 2024 CR 5756, State of Texas versus Xavier Martinez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett here, Your Honor.
Defense?
Leslie Sahanovich, Mr. Martinez.
And are you Xavier Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Martinez, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, did you review what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with cruelty to non-livestock? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand, if you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He has.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
He is.
Mr. Martinez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $2,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is at the plea.
Yes, it is.
State is at the plea.
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Off the record. Is Hickman out? Can you have Hickman brought up, Deputy? Her attorney's on Zoom. We're back on the record. Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is recommending that your community supervision be for a term of 7 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 250 hours of community service restitution, and no ownership of any animals. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused. Did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so, how old was Shadow?
Still a little over a year.
So he's a year, which, is that still considered a puppy?
In age, I may assume he was still grown. He was pretty grown, but in age, I assume he was a puppy.
All right, so he's a puppy. So what were you saying to your puppy before you threw him in a fence with other dogs to be killed by them?
Nothing. At the time, in the moment of what I did, I was under the influence of a lot of drugs at the time, and I wasn't in the right mindset. And
No, it says here, a male pedestrian walking his dog, that's you, began yelling at it and then tossed it over the fence.
I can't remember a lot of that time.
Mhm.
I know what I did, and I can't remember some of the moments in between leading up to it and after it.
So what do you remember? So you throw your 1-year-old dog over the fence with other canines. And then what? You just stood there?
No, I ran, but I do remember the noises the dog made, and
Why did you run after you threw the canine over, well, Shadow over the fence?
there was nothing I could do after that. What I did was done.
Because of what?
There was nothing I could do after that. What I did was done. I just made the choice, the horrible choice to do that. And what I did was done, so I just ran and had to listen to her whine and yelp.
I'm sorry, what?
I just ran and I had to listen to her whine and yelp all the way back to my house.
Yeah, because, so you knew there were other dogs in that, behind that fence.
Yes,
All right, because it says here that you told the police you didn't know there were other dogs, but it appears that you purposely walked the dog to that address. Do you have any children?
oh man,
Have you had employment?
yes, I was working as a helper with this man. They were giving me a lot of construction work to help him do a lot of things.
And who were you living with?
I was living with just by myself most of the time, and my girlfriend.
All right, you really shouldn't have a girlfriend. I can't force you not to have a girlfriend, but there are other issues that you probably need to be working on. Does your girlfriend have children?
I'm not
So who was living in the house with you and your girlfriend?
seeing Shadow, another dog,
And what?
and another dog.
Okay, Shadow, and what's the other dog's name?
Nessia.
Nessa?
Nessia.
Nessia? All right. So why don't you take Nessia on this walk with you?
I don't know. Like I said, I was under the influence of a lot of different drugs, and I wasn't mentally competent at the time that whole day.
And what type of dog is Nessa?
It was
Nessia.
It was a pit bull.
All right, so you have a pit bull and Shadow was staff.
It was that.
Yes.
It was a pit lab, I believe.
All right. And how did you come to be the owner of Shadow?
I bought him off of a neighbor.
Mhm. Everybody's just selling their dogs to anybody without checking anything. Had Shadow had any shots?
Not that I know.
No. Have you ever had any mental health issues?
It's not
What?
bipolar, depression, anxiety, ADHD, some manic disorders. Because
Have you ever been on any medications?
it's not,
What medications?
right now I'm taking the Prexa. I just recently got on it last week. I was supposed to be on Lexapro, but for some reason they're not giving it to me. And Abilify. And throughout my lifetime, I've been on a lot of different medications.
And how far did you go in school?
Up to ninth grade, I I couldn't get back into school because of the CPS and all that, and just homelessness just started around
All right, and how old are you?
20.
All right, and what's with all the tattoos on the face? What's that about?
Oh, when I was 16, I was really bad on drugs at the time, and I was just in a motel room, really high, and my dad left the tattoo gun and ink, and I tied myself up, my face and my arms, and I've been trying to get it. I went to get it removed once, and I'm planning to go again to get it completely removed on my face and on my hands and arms.
Okay. All right, is there anything else I should know about you?
Just what I did with that dog. I don't want to sound full of it, but it hurts me a lot when I think about it. I try to shake the thoughts of what I did. Regardless what I did, I actually cared a lot about that animal. Uh, I love that dog. Hearing the sounds it made, gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. When I think about the time I used to play with it, it's gonna hurt my soul. It's gonna hurt me deep down in my heart that I did a horrible act that can't come back. And it's gonna take it up with God from here on forth with that.
All right, this is what court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 8 years deferred adjudication. There's to be a MIALF evaluation and a felony drug court evaluation and TAP evaluation. That's going to take place in custody. And we'll do felony drug court evaluation first because have a very quick turnaround. If he's not accepted into felony drug court, then it's you to follow the TAP recommendations. There's to be no contact with minors until further notice. There's to be no contact with animals until further notice. 250 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order you to get your GED or either go to some type of trade school. Once that's completed, his community service hours will be deemed satisfied. There's to be a $2,500 fine. That will be probated. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. The UA hotline until further notice. 120 sober support meetings in 120 days. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. Have you ever been to prison or TYC, what they used to call TYC?
No, man.
All right. Have you had any contact with your mom or your father in recent years?
My mom and my dad are in here.
I'm sorry?
My mom and my dad are in here.
You say in jail?
No.
All right. So probation, is there any type of trauma therapy for him? I know it seems as though I'm giving you a lot of programs to complete, but you need a lot.
I want to.
Okay. So we could set up some type of, I know that I'm asking for the mental health evaluation, but he's also probably going to need some sort of trauma therapy. He's probably going to need a counselor for the CPS issues that brought him into the government sphere. Also the trauma issues in regards to shadow. the fact that his parents are at the Bexar County Jail while he's at the Bexar County Jail? Do you have any siblings, sisters and brothers?
I do, but my dad was real violent with his baby mama, so she doesn't allow me to see his kids, so I haven't seen my sister and my brothers.
All right, so we have that to deal with as well. Probation, is there anything else he needs? I'm sorry, what? All right, we'll do pause education course. All right, anything else from probation?
No.
Is there anything else you need from the court?
I don't know.
Is there a way I could, through a program or some way, get into a Haven for Hope or Oxford House?
Oh, they're going to see if they can place you somewhere. What's going to end up happening is you're going to be evaluated for felony drug court. If felony drug court accepts you, then felony drug court will speak to you about housing and everything. All right. All right. Did you review the trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
It's not.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. I know there's a lot of programs I just dumped on you, but you need a lot of help, right? So do not get overwhelmed by the programs. Just work the programs mentally, internally, so you can improve. Do you understand? Do not just throw your hands up. Do not disappear. Because what you're looking at, if a motion to revoke were filed, is 10 years in the prison. Now, if there's an issue, let your officer know. If you feel as though you're not able to get in touch with your officer, or you still are not receiving the answers, you can always come back to the court and you can talk to me. You understand?
It's not.
All right, good luck to you.
One more last thing. I don't have a birth certificate. I don't have a social ID. I've never had an ID. So is there any way probation can help me get all that so I could be?
Well, let me ask you this. I used to do child protective services cases. Did you age out of the child protective services system? By that, I mean, did your parents ever retain custody of you?
No,
All right, were you ever adopted?
yes, when I was younger, yes.
All right, so when you were adopted, that person should have your birth certificate and all of that information. If they don't want to give it to you, or if they're saying they don't have it, the people who should have it is your child protective services worker. And counsel, if you go next door to CPS court, the one with the green rooftop on the second floor, they will be able to direct you the easiest way to get your birth certificate, your social security card. Okay? All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Hello. How are you? All right. Mr. Rivera, they're almost done with your paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
Court is calling 2021 CR 2962, State of Texas versus Sonia Hickman. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Lorraine Ephraim?
And are you Miss Hickman?
Yes, ma'am.
Your attorney is actually out of county right now. Do you have any objections to her appearing by video?
No, ma'am.
State, any objections to counsel appearing by video?
No.
All right, Ms. Hickman, did you review the motion to revoke community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I do.
Okay. Are you the same Sonia Hickman who was placed on community supervision in 2021 CR 2962 for the offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle on June 1st, 2021 for a term of 2 years and extended for 2 years? Is that you? You need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And defense, what allegation did you negotiate to proceed on?
Actually, we didn't discuss which violation. I think there's 4 or 5 of them. We are pleading true with the open to the court.
Okay.
We do not have an agreement.
All right.
We would go under number 5.
All right, state.
Okay. Violating condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas, defendant Sonia Hickman that did in there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of February and March 2023 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that, true or not true? All right, state, do you waive other violations?
Your Honor.
Did you, any objection to the state's waivers?
No objection.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court would find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 1 year in the state jail facility? Did you understand that?
True.
No, I want you to listen to me carefully. You've pled true to violation of condition number 5. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that violation of condition number 5, you're saying that you didn't report for February and March of 2023? Did you understand that?
True.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand?
I understand.
All right. Did you understand by pleading true to number 5, I can send you to the state jail facility for up to 1 year? Did you understand?
Yes.
All right. Knowing that I could send you up to the state jail facility for 1 year, do you still wish to plead true to number 5?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The court is finding violation of condition number 5 true. My understanding is there no agreement. That is correct.
That's correct, Your Honor.
State, what are you requesting?
Revocation, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, are you requesting revocation as well or no?
No, my client would like a chance to be continued on probation. And what she says is that she was homeless and on the street for quite a lengthy period of time, which made it impossible for her to comply with probation. But now she's in a more steady and stable situation with an address and feels that she can comply and complete all conditions of probation. So
All right.
we're asking for an opportunity to be continued.
All right, that's going to be denied. I'm going to grant the motion to revoke. This is not her first motion to revoke for this cause number. Probation, has she done anything on probation?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge,
Yes. Depends.
I believe she has 73 days credit.
All right, so state, what are you requesting for sentence?
Your Honor, I believe the 1 year is the underlying, that's what may be requested.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is going to grant the motion. Court is going to sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. There's $1,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Was there any restitution owed to Davis Thieves and Enterprise Rental Car Company?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have a limited right to appeal? That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you're on community supervision. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record. Here's the thing. If you have an issue, you can always go to different places in Bexar County. Bexar County has a lot of shelters for people to stay at. They have a lot of free opportunities if you have a drug or alcohol problem where you can get help.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And back on the record, I'm sorry. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Hickman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck, Ms. Hickman.
All right. Ms. Efron, we also have Mendez.
Okay, Mr. Escobar and I were speaking earlier, and I think I don't know if I have a firm offer on it just yet, but he's going to get me a firm offer.
Judge, on that one, I just wanted a chance to just try and reach out to the complaining witness before you make a decision. I know it has a lot of settings.
It does. So Ms. Ferguson, on this, set this for July 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to come back on July 1st.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Okay, may I be excused?
Yes,
Thank you so much, Judge.
you're welcome. Okay, all right, so where are we on this case?
So I think, are in very good shape. So basically the two, not issues, but the two status updates I can provide is council is gonna drop off a terabyte drive to the DA's office so everything Discovery is uploaded, but they just wanna be able to have it on their terabyte.
Mhm.
So they're gonna do that. And then we have
CPS.
a CPS protective order. We have the records as well. And I let council know that when she picks up her terabyte drive, at that time, we'll be able to give her the redacted CPS copies because our paralegal does that for us, Your Honor.
All right, so this case has been going on since November. So you all gonna have to confer off docket for state for you to tender the offer.
Sure, yeah.
And Ms. Ferguson, if you can recall this back either at the end of July, no later than the first week in August for a plea deadline date.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. All right, we're going to be back on July 30th. On July 30th, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. All
Thank
right.
you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. Thank you.
If I could ask one
Sure.
non-legal question. The tropical flower, that's the red one kind of coming out from the middle. Do you remember what those are called?
I don't. And you know what? It's on the tip
It's
of my
like-
brain right
it's-
now. Yes.
And I want to say bromeliad, but I don't think it's a bromeliad.
No, it's going to come to me and I will call you at 1 a.m. and let you know. Because usually that's what ends up happening.
I just got back from a trip to Seattle and the time change was messing with me.
So where are we on this case?
So this case, Your Honor, was originally assigned to Mitchell Russell.
Yes.
So the court, Norma's gonna appoint me on this case, sir, because he has pending aggravated assault with deadly weapon case
Okay.
amongst other cases. I conferred with Daniel on this matter. The state wants to reset so we can move forward on the higher offense level cases.
All right. So, okay. All right. So can you give me a month reset? Is that enough time for everyone?
Yes. I'll leave it there.
Okay. All right.
I can do February 12th.
All right. We'll be
Oh.
back.
Defense counsel will be out. Remember, I don't come back until we try that case with Kathy Compass.
Yes.
I leave on the 8th, we'll be back the 18th. Then we start the trial, I think, on the 20th.
Which case are you? Because are you on Eric Lopez with her? Or no.
No.
Angel.
Angel. Okay.
Remember, the one that starts that Tuesday.
So let's put it on the same date as that.
Tuesday,
Yes.
That
February
works.
20th.
All right. February 20th.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you all ready to proceed on the motion to revoke?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2000. Please do not talk behind the court reporter. We're on the record. If y'all will remove it to this end. Court is calling 2016 CR 6340 State of Texas versus John Anthony Ramirez. Michael, can you all move it to that end?
Yes.
All right. Court is calling 2016 CR 6340 State of Texas versus John Anthony Ramirez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
State of Texas.
Defense?
Renee Munoz on behalf of John Ramirez.
Are you Mr. Ramirez?
Yes, ma'am.
Going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same John Anthony Ramirez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2016 CR 6340 for the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on April 10th, 2017 for a period of 5 years and extended for a total of 3 years? All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, John Anthony Ramirez, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of July and August 2023 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5? Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, we have already confirmed with probation. It's for the defendant to report twice a month for 3 months virtually or in person. Monthly UAs for the defendant to continue treatment with the Center for Healthcare Services and to comply with his medications. And that would alter and amend, and we would ask that you deny this.
All right, probation.
Your Honor, we did confirm that agreement. I'm sorry, the agreement is not. That is the agreement.
All right, so here's the court's issue. He's been here before me previously for not reporting. So how is this going to solve the issue? And I'm taking in consideration his mental health issues. So how is this solving the issue?
Yes, Your Honor. At first glance, I can see the court's concern. I spoke with my client and he did state that he was and is currently receiving services with the Center for Healthcare Services, Judge. He has been prescribing to them. I am receipts of a document from Jennifer Munoz, his case manager.
Mhm.
I can tender it to the court.
Yes,
The court
please.
doesn't have an issue with that. He's been under their care for the last 18 months, Your Honor. And been-
All right, you all need to whisper in the box. If you can't whisper in the box, then you can't talk in the box.
He's been reporting with them for the last 18 months and has been consistent with his appointments with them, Judge. He started off with pills, oral medications, but now he's on the injection. He takes once a month and he's now currently stabilized. I believe the issue was a little miscommunication with probation. I know that probation wanted him to try to get help at Palo Alto. My client states that he went to Palo Alto to get help and they said, we can't double up on your care. You're already seeing the Center for Healthcare Services. My client has stated that he can't afford the UAs and the probation officer essentially said, figure it out. And we are figuring it out, Judge. His family's going to help contribute to that UA. So that's not going to be an issue. And I told clients that, no excuses in terms of not missing probation. If he needs to take the bus, he needs to take the earliest bus possible. So even if he misses a bus, he's on time. If he's there and they're saying they can't meet with him, to document that, to take a picture, he was there, email me, email the court. Hey, I'm here. The probation officer is not able to meet with me at this time. He's wanting to reschedule, but he has been making his appointments regularly with Center, Judge, and he has been doing well with them. So it seems like, he has a lot going on, but I'm telling him that he needs to make good on his requirements to the court and probation, that they need to meet with him, they need to see him. But his sister did furnish me that document from Center for Healthcare that he is receiving treatment, Judge. And I think he does seem stabilized to me. He does seem like he's wanting the treatment and he's already set up with the center. So we're respectfully asking the court for him to allow that. I did talk with him about the proposition before the court with meeting with probation. He has no issue going there down in person. He's going to take the bus. He's going to have family members take them. He's going to establish a better communication with the probation officer. I think has a year left after all the extensions when it's all said and done to expire in 2025 in April, Judge. So I'm encouraging him to give this last push. He's been on probation for quite a while. I think this case originated in 2016. So he has not picked up any new number ones. He has not demonstrated any violent behavior. He's demonstrated that he does need mental health services, and he is, he is taking measures to help himself in that regard, Judge. So we're asking the court respectfully.
All right, and probation, I'm assuming that you all will have access to his compliance with Center for Healthcare Services?
Your Honor, we'll ask for a release of information.
Oh, you have the release?
Yes, Judge, I filled it
Thank
out
you.
just in case we need the records from Center.
All right. All right, so I don't think it would be appropriate for him to have to report more often than he's currently reporting, because it seems to me the issue is his mental health. So if there's no objections, what I'll do is I'll deny the motion, alternate conditions, and he's to continue with mental health care with Center for Healthcare Services. He's you to make sure that you report monthly, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are to provide a release so that the probation will be able to see how your treatment is going for Center for Healthcare Services. The court will note for the record that that release has been signed. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. We have executed that. And
All right, is there anything else?
nothing further, Judge. We greatly appreciate the court's time and consideration.
All right, Mr. Ramirez, we're off the record. If there is an issue you can always come to court and let the court know what the issue is, and we'll make sure that you're on track.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am, very much, ma'am.
All right, you're welcome.